Adam Sandler is the only fucker that can make Harvey Keitel and Al Pacino being a fucking embarrassment. But not only that, he will make you want to cancel your fucking Netflix subscription. That's right. That's going to be what I'm going to be talking about right now for my review. I just saw The Ridiculous 6, right? I know, fuck my life. But guess what? I have something to talk about right here because I just saw it literally, and I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think at the end of the year there was going to be possible that I can actually see a real shitty movie. I thought, all right, I'm having a streak here. I got Creed, I got Chirac, I got some other things that just came out, but I thought I was going to actually have a nice streak. Star Wars coming out. I thought December was actually going to be a pretty good month, but then this shit dropped, and then I wanted to actually see it because I was curious about The Ridiculous 6. I was curious about how the Netflix deal was going to come out, and guess what I saw? I saw a shitty fucking movie. Now, I'm going to talk about this right now, and it may come off as a rant, or it may just come off as just me giving my opinion on something that's very shitty. Now, Adam Sandler has been pretty much lazy for the past decade or so. I wouldn't even say last 10 films. I'd just say last decade. So I would just say this, right? I was a fan of Adam Sandler. Now, granted, his movies were never the best, but for some reason, I actually liked them in the 90s. But as time went on, maybe he got fat, maybe he got lazy, maybe he just got bored. But this is a Ridiculous 6 review. Now, if you don't know The Ridiculous 6, it's about Tommy, an American that was eventually raised by Indians, and then his father eventually comes back to kind of make amends, his real father. And then while that happens, he gets taken, and then, the only way to kind of get his father's life back is to get 50 grand. So Tommy eventually goes on his quest to kind of rob banks and then get the 50 grand to save his dad. On this quest, he meets 5 other men that actually turn out to be his brothers. And while he finds them, they all get together, and then they each help each other out to kind of save their own dad. Now, on this quest, they're going to find a whole bunch of other people. They see things, there's funny or whatever it may be. But that is what it is. Now, the Netflix deal, a lot of people's probably wondering, well, how that's going to work? I think he's got a 7-picture deal with Netflix, and that should be interesting. Also, for Adam Sandler is that some people may think, okay, well, sometimes the studio can meddle into a movie, and then maybe that can actually ruin the creative process. Or maybe it's just a star and his creative team, right? So does the Netflix thing answer those questions? I say, yeah, it does. Because it's simply put, it wasn't Sony or whoever studio he works with. It's just Adam Sandler and his entire thing. Now, Adam Sandler can make you laugh. He can make you just angry, or he can make you just not care. Now, granted, in this movie, did I actually get angry? Kind of, yeah, a bit. And I will say why right now, okay? So some negatives in this thing. This thing is racist to the max, right? They just clamoring on these stereotypes from Asians in the outfield, or Indians called engines. Is like, what the hell are they talking about? But either way, that's just like the least amount of things. We got donkeys farting, we got all this shit, we got every cameo we can possibly imagine just shoved in here. We got all of Adam Sandler's friends since the day he started acting into this movie. He just was just like, fuck it, come on, let's all come in. I would say this, it looked like everybody had fun wasting everybody's fucking time for 2 hours. Also, this movie's way too fucking long. This thing goes 2 hours, right? And you would think for a comedy, especially for a Netflix thing, maybe an hour 30 minutes. This isn't Beast of No Nation. This is fucking Ridiculous 6, a Happy Madison production. So why make it 2 hours long? Because this thing, I had to check, literally, because towards the end, and this is a spoiler if you even really cared, by the end, when the twist happens, which is a terrible twist, Nick Nolte goes bad, and then it's just like, oh, wait, what the fuck? I thought this thing was about to go over. But no, we got like 20 fucking minutes left, and they just start to be like, what's going on here? Like, did Netflix not have a plan as to how they wanted to handle this? It looked like Adam Sandler just was throwing shit at the script to just make this thing go as long as possible. Now, 2 hours is not long, but for a comedy, if you want to call this movie a comedy, is way too fucking long. Also, let's talk about the Ridiculous 6. Let's talk about the performances in this thing. It's a big cast. This is a gigantic cast. We had George Garcia from Lost. We had Terry Crews. We had Rob Schneider. We had Adam Sandler. We had Taylor Lautner. We had all those people in the Ridiculous 6. Now let's lay them all off. Rob Schneider, he's doing his thing. He's going through the motion. He's doing the typical Mexican accent. Adam Sandler, he's just phoning it in as usual. He's not really doing anything. He's doing a tough voice, I guess. And Terry Crews, like Terry Crews, but being wasted in it. The worst thing that happens to Terry Crews is probably meeting Adam Sandler. Also, Taylor Lautner, the fucker don't care anymore. After Twilight, this dude just kind of completely let his career just go down the tube. That movie he did with John Singleton, that was terrible. But in this, he's just, I don't know what he is in this movie, because it's like Taylor Lautner was just like, fuck it. As long as the check comes, I will play any fucking part you want me to play. That's just how terrible he is in this movie. Anytime he was on screen, I just wanted to just do like this, because he was just irating me this much. Also, another thing was that this movie, actually, I would just say this, right? This movie proved that this is definitely an Adam Sandler film, right? If you had any doubts about Netflix making this kind of like their thing, no, Netflix gave free reign. This is definitely an Adam Sandler Happy Madison movie with the fart jokes and the toilet humor and all that. This is all in here. They try to have a bit of a serious tone, and for the most part, they kind of do it. But this movie has a mesh of two things to me when I watched it, and maybe you might find it's the same thing. And it's not two good movies. It's A Million Ways to Die in the West, which was a shitty Western for all the way through, really. And then Don't Mess with the Zohan, which is an Adam Sandler movie, which is, I think, one of his worst ones. You mesh that shit together, and you got The Ridiculous Six, to me. Now, those aren't a good combination, and obviously it isn't. Also, what the hell is the deal with Adam Sandler and these hot love interests? I know his wife is fairly attractive, but it seems like he always constantly keeps on getting these hot chicks, and his hot wife in here, like the names they give the Indians, they call them Indians. It's just like, what? Come on. Some nice. Actually, no, there's not even any nice things in this movie. I'm just gonna kind of like read off some of these things. It's just that I have notes, so I'm just gonna kind of read them off. Also, the campfire scene. When they're like all singing and whatnot. I think that's when I lost my shit. I think that's when it was just over. I was just like, we got an hour left. This thing, the pacing is way off. This thing just goes on and on and on and on and on. By the time you know it, this thing is almost over. And then when it's almost over, it ain't over. That's how bad this shit is. Also, Nick Nolte, it sounds like he's gargling acid. You would think around this time he's been in so many movies, right? He's been in so many movies of all these years, but he still has not figured out exactly how to, how can I say, act very well, for some reason. His voice is just borderline ridiculous. And, that's pretty much all I can really say about it. Nick Nolte sounds like he's gargling acid. He hasn't the greatest thing. Now, also, like I said, you got a lot of cameos and whatnot, and, that's pretty much it. There's nothing really to talk about in this movie. If you heard somebody crying in the background, that was a baby. Just that simple. There was a baby crying in the background. But I would rather listen to a baby crying in the background than to watch this movie again. This movie is, right, I forgot to talk about the positives. The positives are, there's a baby with an axe. There's a baby with an axe. That's it. That's some, there's a hot Indian. George Garcia is kind of fun. That's about it. There's nothing really in this movie. Don't watch it. Don't waste your time on this movie. If you want to, then go ahead. If you're a giant Adam Sandler fan and you want to be disappointed once again, then go ahead and watch this movie. I applaud you because, I will never watch this movie again. I watched it. I just wanted to get out there. That's my review. There's something good here. I give it a 4. Because, you had hot chicks and you had a baby with an axe, and George Garcia was kind of funny, but that's about it. And, that's my review. Comment, subscribe, like, signing out. I can't believe it. We got 3 more of these fucking movies with Adam Sandler.